Hi everybody, it's Hatsy and I'm back with a new video on my second channel. And this is going to be a whole fitness journey from start to right now, not to finish because things aren't over yet. But this is exciting because I'm relaunching this whole channel as like fitness based, and I never thought I'd do that. I never thought I'd be saying that because I'm a gamer. Like, this isn't what I do. But I have been really into fitness for the past year, over a year, and it's become such a big part of my life, and I want to share it with you. So this is going to be a big story, a very dramatic story, and we're gonna start. Oh my goodness. But I've had a lot of people push me to do this, and I just want to say thanks for like all the support and all the people that have like followed me over from Instagram and, you know, my other YouTube channel saying like, do it, like we've got to see, we want to hear it all, because I told you all bits and bobs, but like I've never told you the whole process that I went through. So I've seen a lot of fitness journeys on YouTube, and people usually start like quite early on. So I'm actually going to start like very early on. I know this is ridiculous, but like, because I'm 23, but we're going to start when I'm 16. Now, we're not going to stay there for very long, but I think that it's important for you to hear like my past a bit, to kind of then know me more, know me for what I used to be. And okay, yeah, I'm getting too deep with this. Okay, so I left school when I was like 15, 16, I think, and this was when I was about to enroll in college. Now, the thing is, I always ate what I wanted to eat, and I didn't have a specific diet. I didn't go to the gym or anything like that. I did a lot of walking though, because I had to get the train to school and all that. But yeah, during the summer holidays when school was finished and I was just about to enroll in my college and doing beauty therapy, because that's what I wanted to do at the time, I struggled a little bit with my weight. And I wouldn't say that I was like overweight or big or anything like that, but I would just say that I was unhappy because I felt like I was undertoned. So yeah, I'll probably share some pictures throughout this video so you can kind of get an idea of me. During that summer holiday when I was going to enroll, I decided that I was going to rebrand myself and become like almost a completely different person. And I thought how to do that would be if I lost a little bit of weight, because then I thought I'd be like pretty, like all these beautiful women in the magazines, and like everybody would look at me and they'd think, oh, she looks nice and all that. So I decided to go on a diet, and I actually went on the Atkins for about a month to 6 weeks. And that was really when, to be honest, I discovered that I have a bit of an addictive personality, because I got a bit obsessed with the scale. You can get much more intensely than the average person would. This was very serious to me. I'd step on the scales every day and I would be very disappointed in myself if I hadn't meeting the requirements that I'd set myself the day before. So it got to the point where I was very obsessed with my weight. And that actually happened, and it rolled over to when I did join college. And a lot of the girls realised that. That was one of the first things they realised about me. You know, rather than, oh, this is Hattie, like she's a great person, it was, yeah, that's Hattie, she's a bit obsessed with food, she's a bit obsessed with counting, you know, the carbohydrates that's in all her bars, and she's a bit obsessed with the Atkins diet because that's all she eats. She just brings in these Atkins bars. And that's really all the girls, to be honest, were talking about. Like, I say this new me, a lot of them just realised that I was just very obsessed with what I was eating. After a very long time of me being obsessed over this food and this diet that I'm eating and I'm committed to, that's when I developed an eating disorder. And that was something that I think is important to mention, especially in a fitness journey, because I think when you have something like that, I think that you have to be very careful with what you do, because it's very easy to get obsessed over things to the point where a normal person may enjoy activities, but for somebody with a background who has an issue with food and an issue with things like that, it can be something that isn't just a hobby, it is a complete lifestyle. You live and breathe it to the point where nothing else matters. So that's why it's really important for me to mention. And if you want me to go into a little bit more about that, then I will. But that may not be a very happy video, but I don't mind, because I would rather share it, and in the hope that it's going to help other people that may be going through that right now, because it's a horrible thing, and if there's anything I can do to help, then I'm here. So moving on from there, I want to skip forward a little bit now, but I really did think that was important to mention. So I want to talk about when I was probably like 19 to 20 kind of age, maybe even 21. This was like years sort of forward now. To be honest, I kind of got to the point where I was just happy eating what I wanted to eat. And I was kind of back to how I was maybe before that summer holidays, before college started. And I was happy in my like size 10, I guess I was. I could go out, I could have a burger and chips, like I didn't really think about it at all. And then I think when I was 21, that was when I got into the gym. It was kind of getting to the point where I realised that I didn't have the metabolism that I used to, and maybe things were changing with me. You know, I couldn't just go out and have a burger and not even think about it. Like I'd notice it a few weeks later, especially if I ate a certain way. So I started going to the gym and things started to work out really well for me. I started to feel more positive, feel a lot happier. And I went to the gym probably about 14 weeks in a row. And there was this TV commercial thing, like weird thing that I had to shoot. It was like with my family. It's a really weird thing to explain. Basically, I had to be in a red dress in this Lamborghini, and it was for something that was happening. And I felt phenomenal. Being honest, I felt probably one of the happiest times in my body that I have for a while. But it just took so much hard work and effort to get there. To get that result, I was probably going to the gym for 5 days a week or 6 days a week. And when I was there, I was doing 40 minutes of cardio and then about 30 minutes of weights. And I used to hate the cardio bit. Oh my goodness. The cardio was the worst. It nearly killed me every single time. Because I pushed myself. I don't go and I don't take it easy. I went and I gave it my all. My husband James, he ended up getting a job transfer to Germany, and that was where things really went downhill, because when we arrived, we did enroll in this gym, but it just wasn't the same. Like, it wasn't in my routine anymore, you know. I sort of finished work, I went to the gym, I got home, I was happy. Like, that was my Swiss life. Germany was different. It was a 20-minute drive out to this gym if I wanted to get there, and then you had to park, and like, not that you don't have to park anywhere else. I mean, it's not like I just get out your car and just throw away the keys and no, but as in, it was just a lot more difficult. And then on top of things, I also found out that it was a nudist gym, which put me off going. I wasn't happy, and the last thing I remember seeing was this 8-year-old woman squatting on the floor, giving me directions like that to a place that I needed to go. And I was like, do you know what? I think I'm just about done with this gym. I think I'm going home. So I didn't go to the gym. Even though we paid a lot for this membership, I decided that I didn't want to go anymore. And it was sad because I saw all the results that I worked so hard for in those 14 weeks just disappear and just like disintegrate over time pretty much. And I just kind of gave up because I thought, well, do you know, if I'm not going to the gym and I'm not exercising, then what's the point in eating healthy? And I just ate whatever I wanted to eat. And I didn't do a lot of exercise, and that was when I really got into gaming, because that was like the launch of my gaming channel. So I spent a lot of time on YouTube, just like sat at the computer all day. And I was in Germany for about a year. So you can imagine, like, my daily routine was I'd get up, I would game, I would practice, I would make a video, I would watch TV, and then I'd sleep. Like, there wouldn't be much time for gym, anything like that, no healthy eating. Everything that I ate as well would just be fried. And it wasn't very pleasant, to be quite honest. I don't think he would have enjoyed my company, because the food that I was cooking wasn't very nice. It was all sort of frozen. If it wasn't covered in bread and it didn't have chips, it wasn't a meal for me, basically. And what ended up happening was I ended up getting depressed in Germany because I wasn't leaving the house. I hated where I was. I hated the neighbour situation. I hated everything about my life, apart from the YouTube thing, because I was in love with that. But fitness-wise, things were getting worse and worse and worse for me. And it was getting to a point where I wasn't doing anything about it because I didn't feel like it. And I went to the doctors because I started feeling really down. It was like the same routine that I was repeating. He insisted that we did some blood tests. Not both of us, just me. Just let me have that. And that was when he told me that, like, he'll ring me back in a few days. But next thing you know, he rings me back the next morning at 8 a.m. as soon as the doctor's surgery opens, and he tells me that I need to get down as soon as possible. So I'm driving like crazy in my car, and I overtake the whole queue at the doctor's surgery because it's huge at 8 a.m. There's like so many people there. And he sits me down in his office and he tells me that I have something called hypothyroidism. But he insisted, he was like, no, you're going to have to be on medication for the rest of your life. If you don't take this, you could potentially die. And it was a very difficult thing for me to hear. And I started to really think about it, and I started to think maybe that's the reason why I'm feeling just hungry all the time. Maybe that's the reason why I'm depressed. And I started blaming it on that, which was really bad because it kind of gave me a bit of a walking stick, like, okay, just blame every single issue in my life on hypothyroidism. Anyway, long story short, I ended up taking this medication, and I was on it in the September through to November. I took it for 2 months, the worst 2 months of my whole entire life. So from taking this medication, now bear in mind, I didn't do any exercise, and I ate whatever I liked. From taking this, it messed my body up completely. I don't know what it did, and nobody can explain it to me, but I went from a size 10 to 12 to a size 18 in 2 months, and nothing changed. Nothing about my lifestyle. I'd lived like that for the whole year, and I was 10 to 12, and then as soon as I started taking it, I was a size 18. Like, it happened so quickly. The first things that I started to get from taking that medication was heart palpitations, and I also started to get tremors like that, like just shaking, just like randomly throughout the day. There'd be times where like I'd be emptying the dishwasher or something, I'd just start shaking like crazy, so I had to put it down. And I don't think my mood got any better. I think that I got some really bad mood swings off it and stuff like that. So anyway, we ended up moving back to the UK in mid-October 2016. And I decided right then, after 2 months of using this medication, that I'm just going to pack it in and I'm not going to use it. So when we got back, I had blood tests taken in the UK. And it actually turned out that I don't have hypothyroidism and I didn't need this medication in the first place. And I tried to ask the doctor about, like, okay, but I was prescribed it and my body has significantly changed in the last 2 months. Nobody can explain it. No one can explain why I was given medication that I didn't need, and I don't understand it at all. The lady was shocked. She was just like, I've never heard of a situation like this. I don't know why your body would have changed, but you don't have to go on that medication. You have nothing medically wrong with you. You're absolutely healthy from what I can see. So I was relieved in a way, but also very sad because whatever this medication had done to my body, it wasn't a good thing. And I was very annoyed at the German doctor for telling me that I needed this medication. And if I'd have stayed in Germany, there is no doubt that I'd still be on whatever he prescribed me right now. And also, I would be taking injections every 3 to 6 months thinking that I had hypothyroidism for the rest of my life. It's not fair to do that to people. And it put me under an enormous amount of stress. But talking about the physical effects that had on my body when I gained how many stones in 2 months, I can't tell you how I felt. I honestly felt like I was breaking out of my own body. I genuinely felt like a snake just like shedding its skin because everything just felt so stretched. Everything. I had stretch marks on my thighs, my inner thighs, my outer sort of areas, like inner arm, like around here. I had one on my neck. So now we're going to go over December 2016, probably the worst month of my whole life. That was when my parents saw me. The last time they saw me, I was getting married, I was happy, I was a size 10 to 12, and then the next time they saw me, just in the short space of a few months, I had drastically changed and they didn't understand what happened. My mum was really worried about me because one of the things that she didn't tell me then, but she told me later on, was she went to a room and cried because she was genuinely concerned that if I can gain that much weight in the space of 2 months, what can I gain in another 6 or a year or 2 years? Like, is it going to get to the point where I'm not even going to be able to leave the house? Is it going to become that bad for me? And my parents were very worried about me. There was a lot of hints dropped as well. I remember, sitting down at New Year and going to bed early actually because I didn't want people to look at the food that I was eating. But even though I knew I needed to do something about it, it was like I was putting it off every single day. And I don't really understand why. Like, I was still eating the way that I wanted to eat, just kind of hoping that things would get better. But I remember how insecure I felt in Prague with my family on New Year. And it was just the most upsetting time for me. I felt so worried about ordering things at restaurants because I was worried in case anybody looked at my plate. I remember having on like the biggest, baggiest clothes around me because I wanted nobody to see what I looked like, and I wanted to like sit in the corner of every room and just hide because I didn't want people to see me. I didn't want people to see how bad it got. And I just remember like only having black clothes or grey clothes, and I only wore those colours because I thought that they hid parts of me that I didn't want people to see, and it was just so upsetting. Like, I just remember. And then like we went to this big party on New Year's night, and I went to bed at 7 p.m. because everybody was dancing and all these women looked absolutely gorgeous, and I just felt like I was the odd one out. I felt like I didn't belong there, and that is absolutely not how anybody should feel, because you know, it doesn't matter. You should go out and you should have fun no matter what size you are. But I just felt so miserable and so down, and I really wanted to change at that point. So it was actually January that I decided that I would do something about it. And it was mainly after one of my family members said something really hurtful to me. And I think that if you've watched my videos before, you'll kind of know like who that probably is. But it was just hurtful. It made me want to change. And if anything, I'm kind of happy they said it, because if anything, it just pushed me further. So the 1st of January, I enrolled in a gym and I started going. And guess what? I absolutely hated it. I remember turning up and I wore black. I remember looking and feeling absolutely terrible when I was there. And I would sit in the corner and hope nobody noticed me. And then I'd go home feeling absolutely worn out and never wanting to go to the gym again. And the thing is as well, like I'd sit on the stairs before I went. And I probably went like once or twice a week in January through to February. And I just remember like I'd try and talk myself out of it. I'd say things like, oh, you've had your hair done today. There's no point. There is no point going to the gym today. You're not going to feel it. Like, it's not going to work out. You're going to lose the shine in your hair and it's going to get greasy. Like, you can't go to the gym today. Or the weather's bad. The weather's real bad today. There's no point. Or, oh, you've got not enough petrol in your car. You need to go and fill up. Let's not go to the gym. Things like that, ridiculous excuses that I would try to talk myself out of going, or you feel tired, I'm ill, like things like that I don't do now. And it was a real shame, but I understand why I did it, because I felt really down when I was going. And another problem is I was doing what other people like doing when they get to the gym. And what I mean by that is if you look at a lot of like fitness routines online and you find one and you think, oh, I'll try that out, and then you try it, you don't like it, well, don't do it again. You know, you don't have to keep doing it. Find one that you do enjoy. Find one that motivates you and makes you feel happy and excited about going, and try that out. Because the same thing is, you know, if you choose somebody else's diet, if you read in a magazine like your favourite celebrity, okay, if someone told me, she's not my favourite celebrity, but if someone told me like Cheryl Cole eats 20 avocados a day, and I tried it and I didn't like it, why keep trying it? Why not just adapt it to me and what I'm enjoying and try that? Because that was a real issue when I first started. I picked up a lot of other people's different fitness routines and I didn't like them. So that was it. So I actually stopped going to the gym through March to May, and that's where I got a Fitbit and I started walking a lot. So I started doing about 10,000 steps a day, and that was the only exercise I did, and I actually really enjoyed it. And I'd honestly say that if you want to lose weight slowly and you don't want to do anything as intense as a crazy gym workout where you're going to be sweating and running and panting and all that, then walking is actually a really good alternative, because I lost a ton of weight doing that and adjusting my diet as well. But being completely honest, I had to be very careful with restricting things and with the numbers, because I struggled before in my younger years getting obsessed with it, and that's where I was heading. I was heading for that issue again. I still had a bit to go. I was still in the overweight scale of the BMI. As I started to lose more and more weight, I started to lose it very quickly as well, just like I did in my younger years and getting obsessed with things. I think things started to fall into a very clear perspective for me, if that makes sense. I started to see that it doesn't necessarily matter how much weight I lost. I wasn't looking any better. I really wasn't. And I might have lost a pound, or £2 or £3 or £30 up to this point. But my hair, my skin, my overall body was starting to suffer because I was putting myself under a great amount of stress again, and I was getting too obsessed and I was losing it too quickly, and I needed to slow down. So I realised this in May. I realised after I'd lost probably like £30 that I needed to do something because I was developing an issue here. My hair was falling out. I felt dreadful. I was calorie restricting too much. I needed to change. And I was in a real dark place as well. So that is where I started to watch loads of videos online, and I started to figure out what's the best way to, make your skin healthier, target hair loss, deal with loose skin. Not that I was having an issue necessarily, but I was kind of getting to the point where, because I'd lost so much weight in such a short space of time, my body hadn't really adapted to my new figure. So I was having like looser parts of my body, but it wasn't as drastic as like you see someone's skin hanging off. So in May, I stepped back into the gym that I hated in January, February, where I wore black, no makeup, was in the corner, and every person that looked at me, I'd give him a look as if to say, get away from me, I don't want to talk to you, don't you dare approach me. And things were different. Things were massively different. I noticed that walking into the gym and going up the stairs, because of these huge stairs in my old gym, it didn't feel as hard. I remember getting absolutely worn out the first time I used those stairs. But now, a few minutes later and £30 lighter, I felt insane. And I just remember that day when I stepped back into the gym, I went on the running machine, and I hadn't ran in, I'm going to say, a good year and a half, even more than that probably. And I ran my heart out on that machine, and I was so excited about it because I hadn't done it in ages, and it felt absolutely incredible. I loved it. So from then on, every single day, I went to the gym and I ran, and I loved it. I loved the feeling. I loved the fact that I could do something that I couldn't have done with that just overwhelming amount of body mass on me. And I felt so good about it. But from May to June, July, August, September, I started to take it very seriously. I went 6 days a week, I had Sundays off. I did 30 minutes of running every day, and then I did 30 minutes of weights. But I was doing like random body weights. So what I do is I would just like work out my whole body. No, bear with me, because I'm not suggesting this. I do like a full body workout every day. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, but I was having a great amount of fun doing it. And from there, like honestly, the cardio mixed with the random weights, even though I was not doing it correctly and I didn't know the foggiest of what I was doing, I lost a further like £20 just from doing that. And I started to change my diet and have very healthy foods like fruits, vegetables. Started to have a lot of corn as well, because I don't eat a lot of meat, but I did try and have some meat. Protein, like every single thing that my body needed, I had a healthy balanced diet. I ran and I did weights, and I did that 6 days a week. I started to see real progress, and that loose skin, or like the looser areas of me that I was worried about, they actually went after time, like from me just working out and from the cardio that I was doing, and I guess the weights that I was doing as well. And my hair started to get in better condition, my skin started to get in better condition, and I felt full of energy again. And I stopped dieting, I stopped restricting myself, I didn't calorie count or anything like that. I actually got into something called macro units, and this is what I would genuinely suggest for anybody that is looking to lose weight. And what it is it basically works out exactly what your body needs to sustain itself. So every single person needs proteins, carbohydrates, and fats. Those three things. And what it does is it works out your height, your weight, all the things, how much exercise you do, calculates it, and then it puts it into a result where you have a certain amount of protein, you can eat a certain amount of carbohydrates and a certain amount of fat. And then you apply it to your diet and you live that way. And that's what I did. And I restricted those little things to do a little bit of a cut. And that's what I was doing from May through to September. And it worked. I lost another £20 because of it. So 50 all in all. And I was very excited about it. because it was very difficult to lose that 30 pounds when I first started, and I genuinely wish, going back, that I did it this method, because the best thing about macro units is that there's always room left at the end of the day. Now what I mean by that is, like, you can have meals that are very high in protein, you can have ones that are very high in carbohydrates, and ones that are very high in fat. The issue with counting calories is, like, the number goes down throughout the day and it's quite depressing, and it's just not nice. It's not a nice mentality, I don't think, anyway. But if you use it with macro units, what you can do is, when you've used up a lot of your carbohydrate intake, then you can switch over and have something that's maybe very high in protein and do it that way. That's what I do, and it's worked for me, and I genuinely suggest it. It was very hard at first to start counting everything and looking at each and every nutritional label on foods, but after the first couple of weeks it gets so much easier, and then you know what's in everything, so it gets a lot easier. But yeah, that's what I'm still doing now. I just don't take it as seriously as I used to. Like, I don't carry around a pen and pad and write everything down that I'm doing. I just kind of know what I'm doing and I just stick to it. So from September, that was when I went to the gym, and I actually found somebody at the gym that I would have called a friend that helped me a lot with just what I needed to do. But they taught me a lot. We don't speak anymore, and a lot of you will know a lot of the drama surrounding that as well. But all the way through to September to right now, which is January the 31st, I learned that you can have separate days for separate things. So what I've been doing for the remaining months is splitting it. So I'll do a chest and tricep day, back and biceps and legs, and then I'll repeat. But I've got a new cycle now that I'm doing it by myself right now, and I mainly just focus on weights now. So I probably go to the gym for about an hour to an hour and a half, and I have fun. That is it. I get up, I'm excited to go. I used to go for a lot longer when I did have someone to work out with, and it was different then. But that's what I've been doing at the moment, and honestly, I'm loving it. Like, it is just such a lifestyle changer, and it makes me just so emotional, like, when I think about just how far I've came since January 2017 to now. It is just mad. And you know, you do not have to go to the gym 6 days a week and follow a very strict diet to get the results that you want. Even making little changes in your life and just starting out with the smallest of things could really help. I think what a lot of people forget is, starting something like this, I think you should start small, because you want to incorporate it into your lifestyle. You don't want to just shock yourself and then, you know, think, no, I don't want to do this. Because I think that's what I did in January to February, like when I first began this whole fitness journey. I think that was the issue that I had. And you know, if I did in January what I do now at the gym, I would have hated it. I needed to take it in little steps, and those little steps for me were starting with walking and starting with cutting things out and trying to be a little bit healthier. And yeah, I took it too far with calorie restricting. I will put my hands up high and I will say I'm an idiot. And I genuinely wish that I'd have started doing the macro units and just started using the cutting method of that, my opinion. I'm not a scientist, but I'm just telling you from experience. Like, you don't want to deal with the hair loss, the skin issues, and the loose skin, because it's just not nice. But yeah, I'm so happy and excited that I get to share my journey with you. I really hope that there'll be somebody out there that this has helped, and you know, I'm always here if there's any questions that you have for me. I'll try and answer as many as the comments below. But thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my story, and I'll see you on the next video.